Hi there! I'm Sprinkles, Santa Claus's special elf. Because everything is special with sprinkles. Santa Claus knows you're special too, and he has something to say to you. So listen close as Santa Claus shares holiday cheer with you. You can leave a special message for Santa Claus and get on the nice list at www.santaclaussays.net. Now here is the big man himself, Santa Claus!
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas to children of all ages around the world. I am Santa Claus, and welcome to Santa's Workshop, Santa's Village, where you can come and hear the good word in your life that Santa Claus says to be good for goodness sakes. Welcome to SantaClausSays.net. This is where we share three good things with you. We share Christmas cheer, the good message of Christmas, and we share a story, a Christmas story. The story we're sharing is called The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus by L. Frank Baum, and we read a letter to Santa. You can find everything you need to know about SantaClausSays.net at our website, SantaClausSays.net. That is where Santa Claus listens to you when you send me your message with your Christmas wishes and the things that are on your heart about Christmas time. You can leave me a voice message there, and I will listen to your voice message. You can leave me a text message, and I will get your text message right here on my purple cell phone. That's where I get it. And also, you can leave me an email. And on the email, you can leave me an email here at SantaClausSays.net/present. And when you leave me an email, I will send you a gift in the email right back to you. We love you and we listen to you here at SantaClausSays.net. There is our chimes, our glockenspiel, which Sprinkles is reminding us of that it's time for our story. And we've been reading from our book all this Christmas season, The Life and the Adventures of Santa Claus by L. Frank Baum. He also wrote the book called The Wizard of Oz, and some of you will remember that book or the movie about the Wizard of Oz. And a lot of the characters in this book about me, Santa Claus, have some similarities to the characters there. And they're not scary like they are in the Wizard of Oz, some of them, but they are fascinating characters that we have in this book, and we love reading it to you. It's all about me, Santa Claus, about where I come from. And I want you to know we're reading the entire book, so if you missed some of the previous episodes of SantaClausSays.net, where we read the earlier parts of the book about the youth of Santa Claus, you want to go back and listen to those, because that will be very helpful as you listen to this episode and the upcoming episodes all the Christmas season. We're here every day on Facebook, on YouTube, and at SantaClausSays.net, the website, and on Apple Podcasts and the other podcast apps where you can listen to SantaClausSays.net. But today's chapter is from the manhood of Santa Claus, and it's the second part of the chapter called The Laughing Valley. So let's begin. Claus searched for roots to eat, while the daffodils turned their little eyes to him laughingly and lisped their dainty song. Blooming fairly, growing rarely, never flowerets were so gay. Perfume breathing, joy bequeathing, as our colors we display. It made Claus laugh to hear the little things, the little voices that their happiness as they nodded gracefully on their stems. But another strain caught his ear as the sunbeams fell gently across his face and whispered, "Here is gladness that our rays warm the valley through the days. Here is happiness to give, comfort to all who live. Yes, cried Claus in answer, there is happiness and joy in all things here. The Laughing Valley is a place of peace and goodwill. He passed the day talking with the ants and the beetles and exchanging jokes with the light-hearted butterflies. And at night he lay on his bed of soft moss and slept soundly. Then came the fairies, merry but noiseless, bringing skillets and pots and dishes and pans and all the tools necessary to prepare food and to comfort a mortal. With these they filled cupboard and fireplace, and finally placing a stout suit of wool clothing on a stool by the bedside. When Claus awoke, he rubbed his eyes again and laughed, and spoke again about his thanks to the fairies and the master woodsman who had sent them. With eager joy he examined all his new possessions, wondering what some might be used for. But in the days when he had clung to the girdle of the great axe and visited the cities of men, his eyes had been quick to note all the manners and customs of the race to which he belonged. So he guessed from the gifts brought by the fairies that the master expected him hereafter to live in the fashion of his fellow creatures, which means that I must plow the earth and plant corn, he reflected, so that when winter comes I shall be garnered food in plenty. But as he stood in the grassy valley, he saw that to turn up the earth in furrows would be to destroy hundreds of pretty and helpless flowers, as well as thousands of tender blades of grass, and this he could not bear to do. Therefore he stretched out his arms and uttered a peculiar whistle he had learned in the forest, afterwards crying, "Riles of the field flowers, come to me!" Instantly a dozen queer little riles were squatting upon the ground before him, and they nodded to him, cheerfully greeting. Claus gazed upon them earnestly. "You brothers of the forest," he said, "I have known and loved many years. I shall love you also when we have become friends. To me the laws of the riles, whether those of the forest or of the field, are sacred. I have never willfully destroyed one of the flowers you tend so carefully. But I must plant grain to use for food during the cold winter, and how am I to do this without killing the little creatures that sing to me so pretty in their fragrant blossoms?" The yellow rile, he who tends the buttercups, made an answer. "Fret not, young Claus. Friend, the great axe has spoken to us of you. There is better work for you in life than to labor for food, and though not being of the forest, Ak has no command over us. Nevertheless, we are glad to favor one he loves. Live, therefore, to do good work you are resolved to undertake. We, the field riles, will attend to your food supplies." After this speech, the riles were no longer to be seen, and Claus drove from his mind the thought of tilling the earth. When next he wandered back to his dwelling, a bowl of fresh milk stood upon the table. Bread was in the cupboard, and sweet honey filled a dish beside it. A pretty basket of rosy apples and new plucked grapes were also awaiting him. He called out, "Thanks, my friends," to the invisible riles, and straightway began to eat the food. Thereafter, when hungry, he had but to look into the cupboard to find goodly supplies brought to him by the kindly riles. And the cooks cut and stacked such wood for the fireplace, and the fairies brought him warm blankets and clothing. So began life in Laughing Valley, with the favor and friendship of the immortals to minister to his every want. And so ends this chapter 1 of this section about manhood for the book, The Life and the Adventures of Santa Claus. Next time we get together, boys and girls, we're going to get into chapter 2 of this section of the book, which is all about how Claus made the first toy. So you do not want to miss that chapter of the book. So please stay tuned here to Santa Claus Says. Aha! Ho, 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 ho! There is our chime from our wonderful elf Sprinkles, who reminds us that it is now time for our letter to Santa. And I want to remind you that you could send me your message here at SantaClausSays.net, and I will listen and I will answer you. I will answer you when you send me your message via voicemail. You go to SantaClausSays.net, and there's a place right there on the website where you can send me a voicemail. There's a place where you can send me a text message, which I get on my purple cell phone. And there's a place there where you can send me an email. You go to SantaClausSays.net/present, and I will send you a present in your email. That's what you want to do. And it'll be fun. And I listen to you and I respond to you personally. And there's other opportunities for me to respond to you with a video, personalized video, or a personalized video chat, a Zoom call. So you want to take a look at that. Now it's time for our letter to Santa for the day. Here's our letter. It's a funny one. It says, "Dear Santa, how do you get inside the house if the door is locked and there are no chimneys? Love, Jimmy." Well, Jimmy, that's the magic of Santa. And the magic of Santa is I'm in your life. And I'm here because I love you and I serve you. And what I would ask for you to do is just to be in communication with me here at SantaClausSays.net and on Christmas Eve to make sure you leave me hot cocoa and cookies. I love that. And I love to hear from people like Jimmy and the children from around the world. So don't forget to write me and to message me at SantaClausSays.net. There's our Glockenspiel chimes, boys and girls, which means it's about time to conclude this episode of SantaClausSays.net. Remember, you can find me every day during Christmas time of 2023, right here on YouTube, right here on Facebook, right here on SantaClausSays.net, on Apple Podcasts and other podcast apps. You can find me. Just go to Santa Claus Says and search for me there. I listen to you. I love you. I'm with you. And I want to hear your Christmas wishes and the good things that are happening in your life and how you are helping others out in your life. I'll be with you here again on another day here on SantaClausSays.net. Remember, until we get together again, that Santa loves you and reminds you that Santa Claus says to always do good for goodness sakes. Goodbye, boys and girls. We'll see you next time here on Santa Claus Says.
You're special to Santa Claus, just like Sprinkles. Get on Santa's nice list at SantaClausSays.net and watch Santa Claus Says on YouTube. Tell him Sprinkles sent you.